Hello guys, this is Jones10395 with another Airsoft video for you today. This will be another suppressor video. This will be how to turn your mock suppressor into a working Airsoft suppressor. Now before I start showing how to do this, I'm going to say all of us here who are into making suppressors that work to a certain extent for Airsoft guns understand that it's almost impossible, if not impossible, to completely suppress an airsoft gun because we know most of the sound comes from the motor and the gearbox. But there's a small amount of sound that comes out the end of the muzzle, and if we can, we're going to do our best to try to completely, if not substantially, remove that. So that's what this suppressor is for. We all understand you're never going to be able to get rid of all of it, and to some, the airsoft suppressor is pointless, but to most of us who like to build things for our guns or in custom things, it's just fun to build and know that you have some personalization on your gun. So to build this, or to turn your mock suppressor into a working airsoft suppressor, you're going to need some washers. These particular washers have been bent out of shape, as you can see by me. These are, I'm actually going to measure this up right now. I didn't measure them before this, obviously, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay, so these are 1.5-inch washers right here. My math may be off a little bit wrong, but this suppressor here is 200 millimeters long, and it's 30 millimeters in diameter. So that's basically 7.5 inches right here without the end caps on. You're also going to want a suppressor that has removable end caps, so we can even get inside of it. So something to cut foam with, like this. You're going to need foam. You have to chop that down a lot. A razor blade, a very precise cutting edge will work. A knife will work, but something really precise will do the job way better. So I'm going to be cutting out baffles. Not really baffles, but spacers to go in between the baffles, which are what these washers are going to be. These are going to be placed in the barrel, like a real suppressor would be, except it's for airsoft. So holding these in place will be foam, and we're also going to cut the foam up a little bit to perhaps take out more sound with the foam itself. So I'm going to cut that up right now, and then I'll show you the finished product for the foam. Okay, so after you cut your baffle spacer, which will go in between the baffles or washers, like this inside of it, depending on how many washers you want to use, you're going to have a different amount of baffle spacers. So I'm going to use 5 for this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to put foam in between the wall of the suppressor, the end cap, and I'm going to put foam in between the washers or baffles themselves. So that would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 foam spacers. So I'm going to do this 6 more times. But what I did was I cut the foam down from this size down to here. This will fit inside of here snugly. It can slide smoothly, but it won't collapse in on itself, and it's not too tight to the point that once again it collapses. It'll be just enough to hold it in place without it shaking around. So now, after removing enough foam off the side to make this fit inside the suppressor casing, I'm going to cut in the side here. I guess this one works better, just so I can get a little bit more kind of space in between the washer and baffle spacer and wall of the suppressor, to try to absorb some air and sound, because the sound comes from the air escaping into the barrel, as we all know. So I'm going to do that to one side. I'm going to do it exactly the same on the other side. You want to make sure you leave kind of a supporting structure in between the two cutouts you're going to do on each of your spacers. I'll show you what I mean here when I'm finished cutting. You want to take your time with this. You don't want to cut too far and screw up the kind of integrity of this so it won't collapse. You don't want that. Okay. So if you can see what I mean there. So what will happen is you're going to have your baffle spacer, and your baffle inside of the suppressor casing. So I'm going to do that 5 more times, because that is how many I need, and then we will put it in the suppressor casing. Alright, so we're ready to put in our washers or baffles and our baffle spacers. One pointer is you want to keep both your end caps off for this part, because it's very helpful and it's easier to get these in here without, letting them slide around and turn sideways. You're also going to want a screwdriver or something that is flat enough and will fit inside of the suppressor shell. It'll stop it from falling down. So if you like to have your kind of writing here on the muzzle, then you're going to want to think about that right now. So put your screwdriver down there. Put your foam spacer first. Then you're going to want to make sure your washers, if you've angled them like mine, angle them pointing towards the barrel, towards the muzzle of the gun. Alright, and then put another foam spacer in there. Baffle. Let them fall down a little bit, make room for the next ones. Our foam spacer. Baffle. And you're just going to keep doing this over and over again until you can't fit any more in there. And if you notice, some of my foam spacers are different from what I told you to do. That is because I ran out of foam and I didn't have enough to finish it, so I'm using some of my old foam, which was cut differently. Where's another one? There it is. This should be our last one. And now it's time for the foam. Okay, so if you notice, it's going to be tight, and you want that so that it squeezes your baffles together and pushes them together. And if you can hear that, that's them shaking around. So you want this to squeeze in on them and not let them shake around. So remember, where you pointed the washers towards, you're going to want your muzzle to be on that end. Going to screw that on, and now we are going to do a test with my MP5 with no muzzle device, M16 no muzzle device, and my gas blowback 1911 with no muzzle device. And we'll also do it with this to show the difference, only from the target's point of view, because you really can't tell when you're the person shooting it. Before I shoot this, I wanted to make a new suppressor that kind of wasn't like anything else and worked better than everything else I've made before. And so I looked how real suppressors were made, and I tried to do as best as I could with the materials I had. Obviously, well, once again, it's not going to completely suppress it. We all know that. I just wanted to make something that would work to the best of its abilities and better than anything else, and make a completely new, original AIRSOFT design. And I believe there is nothing else like this on the internet or YouTube. So you're seeing it here first. So we're going to go shoot guns right now. Once again, MP5, 1911, and my M16. And I don't know which one we're going to see the best results with, because honestly I haven't done this before, so me and you are going to see it both first time together. So here we go. later.